Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Disruptive Innovation Festival. My name is Karen, and as you know, the DIF tomorrow is coming to an end. This is an online open access event that gathers people from all over the world. We have had designers, makers, scientists, even artists, and of course, many entrepreneurs. And speaking about entrepreneurs, I have a couple with me today. We have Daniela and Madeleine. They're actually co-founders of a startup called Something Borrowed. If you're interested about fashion, design, and how you can articulate these topics with sharing economy, so then stay tuned because they are explaining us their business model and how they're actually making fashion more sustainable. Daniela and Madeleine, welcome to the DIF.
Hi, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here. So I'm Madeline, one of the co-founders, and this is
I'm Daniela.
Daniela, my partner. So we're gonna start by just telling you briefly about us, and then Daniela is gonna explain a little bit more about the fashion industry and maybe really why we're in this business together. And of course, we're going to tell you a little bit about Something Borrowed and how we're kind of approaching this task. So me and Daniela, we met when we did our bachelor studies in supply chain management. So we did that for 3 years together and really, we found each other and said like, we really sometime in the future have to start a business together.
Exactly.
And I moved on to do my master's in entrepreneurship and business design at the Chalmers University in Gothenburg. So this entrepreneurship spirit and things is really something very important to me.
Yeah. And I did my master's in the Swedish School of Textiles, and I did the master's of textile management. So I have the textile side of our knowledge base, really. Yeah.
So this is really something that comes natural for us, this business model, and also like the passion to actually make a change and make a difference. And Daniela's gonna talk to you a little bit about why and what is actually going on in the world.
Yeah. So we felt like this was a perfect opportunity for us to highlight a specific problem that we have really identified and built our company around. So what we want to dig into today is clothing consumption, because we know that people aren't really aware of how their consumption is affecting the world, and that's what we want to talk a little bit more about and kind of spreading the knowledge in this webinar today. So the consumption of clothes has increased drastically during the last decade. And in Sweden alone, it is estimated that around 100,000 tons of textile is going to the garbage every year. And in America, an average person is throwing away 40 kilos every year. So we're throwing away a whole lot of clothes. And it is also not unusual that consumers use a garment 1, maybe 2 times and then throw them away. And also, we're buying a lot of fast fashion garments, which have a life cycle of a month or even less. And the scariest part of all is that we are using these garments a few times and throwing them away because of really bad quality and new fashion trends that we want to keep up with. And people kind of want a diverse and changing wardrobe, and they want to keep up with the fashion trends and look good. And I mean, who can blame them? We do too. I mean, of course we do. And at the same time, there's actually studies that people want to do the right thing and want to be conscious and sustainable, but on the fashion market, that's kind of a hard task to manage. And studies have shown that consumers who have knowledge about how the fashion industry really works reward and support ethical businesses more often. And it is shown that 1 out of 5 people actually are willing to pay more for ethical products. And if the knowledge is missing, however, people don't care, and people go buy these fast fashion garments without any hesitation because they don't know the consequences of their own actions. And I have to say also that people are more self-centered than society-centered, which means that people will go and choose the cheaper price over like a organic product. So the price is kind of more important. And also another fun fact is that consumers tend to donate their clothes, but only to make more space in their own closet and to relieve those guilt feelings that you get from buying clothes that you haven't really worn. So you do it for your own good, really. And so to summarize this, how the consumers behave and how the fashion industry looks, there is a will to do the right thing, but the knowledge is missing. And without the knowledge, we won't change how we are consuming. So it is really important. But however, today's children and youth are in the generation Z, which is the generation that has been taught from a really early age about sustainability and how it's affecting the world. And it also the first truly global generation, and they are born and raised in the era of smartphones and social media. So they might be our hope for a better future. We hope so. And because they are educated, they are informed, and they know how we and our actions are affecting the world. So probably they will act differently than we do today. And this will of course affect the fashion industry because the change in demand will change with the new generation. So there will no longer be easy to fool the consumers, and it might be risky for companies to not act ethically. So if saving the planet isn't a good enough argument to change and be more ethical, maybe this economical aspect of this new generation is. Yeah, that's a little bit about consumers
and the problem.
Yeah, and the problem and why we thought it was important to make a change, really. And now we're going a little bit into our business model, because today most supply chains have a linear economy, so a straight line where products are produced and then they are going to the customers who use them, and then they discard them only to buy new ones to replace the old ones. So we're going back and forth on this line, just creating new and throwing away, and creating new and throwing away. And of course, this will not be possible to maintain in the future, since the prices of the resources constantly are increasing. And also it is estimated that by 2030, I think, 3 billion people are expected to grow from poor, from developing countries into the middle class, which of course will create a massive global demand on resources. And already we're living on borrowed resources, and I think we're using more than 1.5 planets, and this number will of course only increase in the future if we're not doing anything about it right now. So it is really important to try to change the approach of doing business, really. So a circular economy, on the other hand, aims to take care of the products after they have been used. So instead of discarding them as done in a linear economy, they are taken back into the supply chain to reuse them, recycle them, or remanufacture them. So in that way, the supply chain becomes like a circular loop instead of a line, which through its design minimizes waste and takes advantage of the resources that have already been used and gives them a new life instead. So that's what we are aiming to do. Yeah.
So now probably a couple of our listeners today go, wow, I'm really one of those people standing in front of my wardrobe thinking I have absolutely nothing to wear, yet it is absolutely full. And like some of you more know more or less about these issues with sustainability and even social aspects that the fashion industry brings today. But after hearing like Daniela speak, you're going, oh my God, so what am I supposed to do? Like, where do you go now? What can I do to change it?
Yeah, because it's really scary information, really.
Yeah. But to be honest, like for the average customer or average consumer, it is not really, you don't know where to go. It's not obvious if you have to find a solution for all these issues. You still want new clothes, but you don't want to make it harder. So to tell you the truth, it is really hard. And depending on where you live in the world, I know that the concept of borrowing clothes is sometimes not really new for you. There are some other companies doing that in other places. But the letting go of ownership and having a circular approach to clothes instead of a liner has a lot of benefits. So basically you prolong the lifetime of your garment, and when you're done enjoying your fashion, somebody else can do it. And this is one of the principles that our company, Something Borrowed, actually builds on. So we want to get the consumers to let go of the ownership and just share the joy of fashion. And the way we kind of see it is, as a client, you get to expand your wardrobe to a size that few of us can actually imagine. And you're not taking up more physical space in your wardrobe. It's still easily accessible, and it contains more choices of clothes, but you have higher and better quality. And somehow you still manage to spend less money, and you radically decrease your environmental footprint. So for us, I mean, this is a win-win situation when you kind of make this shift in how you behave. So going back to our business model, the two like very important aspects for us is the flexibility and accessibility of it. So we want our customers to have the flexibility they have when they usually go shopping, and they still need to have the clothes accessible in order to kind of make this work. And our solution is to have an online rental shop where you can shop online as you normally would do, but then you also combine this with flexible subscription options. So you can borrow as much as you want and how often as you want. And when you see how people behave today, a lot of people shop online. That's the way you kind of do it, instead of going to a physical store, and it takes up a lot of time. You try to find something you like. Instead, you get the opportunity to browse and just click home the items that you like. And this is how it's going to work on our website. So basically, you're going to browse through all of the items that we have, and you select the choices you want to get delivered in your next package. When you receive your package and you've worn the clothes as long as you like, you send them back and we prepare your next choice, basically. Also, when it comes to the accessibility and flexibility, and we talk about these subscription options, so we want to meet like all our clients' needs. Or some people want to borrow something for a special occasion, and that, of course, you need to be able to provide. Some people, they want to spice up their wardrobe today, so they want to get those nice items, and they want to be able to swap often.
Like me,
yeah,
for example.
For you, for example.
That's
yeah. Me, on the other hand, I just never want to shop again. So I want everything in my wardrobe to be in this like borrowing fashion. So I'm the person, I would like a lot of clothes and maybe not necessarily have to swap them that often. So for example, like one of the subscriptions we're going to launch when we do this in the spring is that we're having this subscription of having 4 to 3 items, and you have a monthly fee, and then you can swap them unlimited times during the month. So basically you have the monthly fee, and then you do the swaps, but only have 3 items at a time. This is something that might suit then Daniela.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't really want to borrow her whole wardrobe, but she can borrow some items to spice up her. See, we're getting some questions here. We're gonna get to that
later.
Yeah, later. But you what is? Yeah. So basically, also we're talking about this expansion thing of the wardrobe and the array of choices that you would have. And the way we're trying to approach this is to really get the right and broad like partnering up with brands and designers. And I know like this is still quite of a challenge even for us, because as the normal clients, it's hard to find exactly those sustainable brands that you want to partner up with to have this really good concept. And I would like to actually encourage you guys, since I see you, some of you are asking questions as well. If you have any favorite brands that have this sustainable profile, we'll be really happy to kind of know about them and what you think and what might be suitable. So the sustainable aspect of this brings me to my next point. So what happens with these type of business models like ours is really cool that we're close. We have a circular business model. We're closer to the customers, which give us a unique opportunity to kind of affect the whole chain moving back. So, because some of you might have kind of realized that this part is one aspect in the whole fashion chain that kind of needs readjusting in order to make this actually sustainable. And in the liner model that is today, it's hard to justify to make sustainable quality clothes because people are not willing necessarily to pay for them, and they only use them a couple of times. So it makes really, there is no obvious sense to why you would do that. By having this circular model, you suddenly need clothes that have higher quality, that are good, to be able to rent them out enough of the times. Yeah. So hopefully you're kind of excited now to go and check out what options there are in your country. Maybe there is a similar startup like us that are providing the whole service where you can rent and we take care of the washing and take care of everything. Or maybe you have a community somewhere near you where you can swap with other people around you. So just go and check it out, see what opportunities you have where you live, and
or start your own with your friends.
Yeah.
Just do something.
We just have to go together and change it. So yeah, we're gonna see your questions here.
Yeah. Okay, so the question from a social media is from Jenny. What are the biggest challenges of implementing this business model? I think
I want to say kind of the people's behavior.
Yeah.
We're not like, I think it depends on where you are. I mean, in Sweden, we don't really have that many initiatives like ours, so it's not exactly like proven that it works the way we want it. So that is gonna be the thing we need to verify, because we know like in other countries it's really about it kind of works. So
like trying to change customer behavior, like it is a big thing to change. So hopefully people are willing to try this out, but it's a big thing to try to change how people are behaving and how they're consuming.
Exactly, it's new for people. Like even now when we go pitch our concept, they go like, so what do you rent? So what does happen? People are not really, it's not common to have heard of it.
It's unusual, so take some time getting used to it.
So we're gonna see the next question. You mentioned, do you wanna?
Sorry, we're so far away from them. That's why we're like swinging. Okay. You mentioned there are other companies also are working towards making fashion more sustainable and circular. Is your business model unique? That's question number 2.
So if you look in Sweden, like where we kind of are based right now, there is a couple of other initiatives, but most of all there are like physical libraries. So basically there is a store and you have to go there and you have to rent the clothes, then go back and leave them. So this is like the accessibility part.
And they're pretty small as well.
Yeah. So in Sweden, it is, we have the option to kind of grow because it's not really been, we don't have too many of those initiatives in Sweden, to be honest.
And none of them is online, I think. So but the first ones there. Yes.
And also like for us, this sustainability thing. So many of the other companies, they go for it from a fashion perspective in order to just have new items. But we really want to work with sustainable brands as well to kind of, highlight the sustainability aspect. So all the clothes that we want to have, we want them to really be sustainable. Hope that kind of answered some of your questions.
Okay, so question number 3 from Mike. Have you launched your business already? What kind of feedback have you received from your customers? No, we
Yeah.
haven't launched yet.
We're doing a pilot in the spring now, so
Yeah.
we're really excited about that. And this is, most important to test the concept. So we have gathered a bunch of clothes, we have put it all together, we have like signed shipping companies. So now we want to try it out.
Yeah.
So we're launching in March.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
year. Yeah,
We're having a 3-month pilot.
3-month pilot, to see
Yeah.
how it goes.
Exactly.
And we have one more. Learn about some mud jeans and Viga, yeah. So Viga we actually like quite a lot. So they have a really niche model with the baby clothing, and we think that is really, really smart. And also they have thought about the sustainability aspect with the clothes.
Yeah.
So we're definitely quite aware of what is out there at the moment. It's just that our market in Sweden is still, quite open.
Yeah.
So, but we're really excited about all the initiatives because we really
Exactly.
need to make a change, and together you can attack this behavior thing. Yeah. Hope that we answered your questions. if not, you can just ask for clarification.
Yeah. Is there anything more? Oh, that's all. Do you have any more questions? Feel free to ask. We're sitting here for a while. I don't know.
Hanging out. Oh yeah. Yeah, so otherwise, thank you so much. And if you want to have a look at what we're doing, you can go to our website. You can go somethingborrow.se.
Another question though.
Another question. Okay.
Okay, this is such a great concept. What about size, cut, etc. issues? I am a dress size in one store but can differ from other stores. What are you looking at in terms of challenges from a business point of view? Well done, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you, first of all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so we think it's really important with sizes and to show the garments correctly on the website, because it's hard to get the feel of the fabric, and so we feel like it's really important to have a lot of information and good pictures and such, so people can do the right
Fortunately,
choice.
this has been done quite a lot when you go to e-commerce shopping. It's important in all parts. And I think if you look at our business model, when you have the actual possibility to swap, it's not as critical if you get something that doesn't really fit as if you would buy it. So if we do it the best way as they do it in e-commerce, and then you also it's not the worst that has happened when you get it home and you can swap it.
Exactly.
So I mean, people do shop a lot online and kind of, maybe shop a couple of sizes and then they send it back, which is really bad. So in order to avoid that, you have to have really good information.
Yeah.
But really good point. Definitely important. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah.
So I think
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Hi.
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 Yeah, so
Hi.
as I was just saying, if you want to check us out, you can go startup.somethingbar.se if you want to have a look. But thank you.
So I think we're actually getting more questions.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So I will just ask you from here, because I cannot. I was actually copy pasting the questions for them so they can see it in the chat, but it will be easier if I do it this way. From the website, somebody's asking. Mavler is asking, building on that, if the clothes you receive is the wrong size, is that shipment wasted, or can you exchange for the correct size?
So we're looking at a bit of an options, because when you get your first package, you will get a larger package. So that is a shipment cost there, that including subscription. But when you talk about sizes, we're actually thinking about option to just send that item back and exchanging it. But I don't think we have exactly decided on how we're gonna handle it. It depends a little bit how often this happens.
Yeah. But the customer shouldn't pay extra for if something doesn't fit, or
if it's badly described and we it doesn't make sense or something is wrong, of course
the shipping's included.
Yeah.
So
we want to do everything to make it easy for you guys.
It's actually very good to know. And we have another question from our social media. Mike is asking that in your website you mentioned that you want to make sustainability part of like the core values of your company in terms of the people working for you. So how that will work? Like, what do you mean by that?
So interesting actually that you asked, because we wanted to speak about it during this session, but then we kind of excluded a little bit, because I think as a company we're really like value driven. Like both me and Daniela, we have really strong values, and also the way, unfortunately today in many cases, people are not like consider, you kind of go to burnout of people and you don't really see them as important resources in many companies, but what we see, people are actually feeling good and having like a nice environment. It needs to be a work environment where you can last a long time. You cannot think like shortly, okay, I can have these employees in 2 years and then I can employ new ones. You just have to look at it as a way, if this person is going to be active in the work life for X amount of years, you have to give them those like the prerequisites to actually make this sustainable with the people aspect. I hope that was a good answer enough for you. So
yeah,
it's really with our values.
And we have actually another one that somebody wants to know. You mentioned that you will release the pilot next year, right? In March. Like, how will it work for your customers? Like, it will be directly, I don't know, they can approach this business model from your website. Will you create an app?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like taking all the questions. But so basically, behind the website that you see now, so in like an other domain, we're building the web shop at the moment. So yeah, because there are some details that are not necessarily to have in the startup page. So we're building like a normal web shop, as if you were, I don't know, shopping at Ellos or something like that. But with the addition that you can put in your membership. So your membership runs over the web shop, and then you can pick your items that you want. The app idea is definitely something where we wish to go. Right now, we're kind of, cost benefit at the moment where we're at. But that is like, people go to mobile, you can't really ignore that. So this is the way they use it. And there is, we have a mobile friendly site now, but the app thing is definitely something we want to look at in the future. Yeah. Sorry.
And Millie is asking, I know, I'm sorry, Jenny, so from social media. She's asking, so what about pricing? Like how much it will cost? Like the membership per month, or like, yes, she wants to know basically the value of your services.
Yeah. So I think we haven't set the cost or the prices fully yet, because we want to see after the pilot group, like what costs really, and how much we have to work for it. But
depending on subscription, because that's what we were talking about before, depending on what kind of thing you want, it will be also a different price. But to take the example for
the standard package.
The standard, like I had as an example, we have 3 to 4 items and you can swap unlimited times. Then what we're aiming at now to have as a monthly subscription is like 700 crowns. That's 70 euro, right? Yeah,
something like that.
Like 70 euro
every month.
Yeah, so that will be that type of package. But I mean, if you want less swapping, like if you maybe want to have more clothes at once, the price might be a bit lower, because actually what is the most cost here is the shipping,
and the laundry as well.
But like the shipping is the most expensive part of it in our model, like which you don't have when you have those physical stores. And we're also considering an option, because right now we don't have a physical store, but when in the future you might be able to actually pick it up, and then also you can kind of adjust the price depending on that. So we're going to try to have as many like flexible options depending on your needs and kind of match it with the price. Hope that is good enough as well.
So let me get like now I have a question actually. Um, so for example, if one of the reasons why people they have trouble to change their behavior when they are buying clothes is because they like to change very often. Like depending on the season, every 3 months you have new items in the stores and you just want to change and keep changing. And of course that is expensive, quite expensive to do so. Do you think that by implementing, like for example, creating this subscription with you, the amount of money that they spend, like paying the membership, is the same or is higher or is cheaper than actually going to the store every 3 months and purchasing new items?
It depends on where you buy your
Yeah, of
clothes.
course.
But
Cheaper.
I think it's cheaper. I think
I mean, just like having one item, if you go like buy at Philippa Co is like 1,600
Yeah.
for just one thing that you wear 5 times, and then you go shop another thing. So
Yeah.
our aim is that you would spend less money for the items and fashion that you get, because obviously you split it among more people. So it should be a win-win in that case. You share the fashion, the joy of fashion. So
Well, for sure there is many people here who share exactly that, because we had actually in the DIF we had a lot of sessions related with fashion industry and circular economy and these type different business models actually. So it's quite interesting that you have, like, you are trying to create different alternatives.
yeah, I think flexibility is like key here in order to make it work.
So we are not getting more questions so far, but I would just like to ask you if you could say maybe one or two things that you really want our audience get from this session today, what that will be.
I think really reflect on like your own behavior and reflect on what you want to do, what can you do, what do you feel it's possible to contribute, because we really need to make a change.
Yeah, try to gather more knowledge.
Yeah.
Read more about this, like about cotton industry and how bad really that is, and what you can buy instead of cotton. And I mean, it's a lot to take in about this subject. So do that.
And there are options, you just need to
Yes.
find them. And people like us, we want to make them available for you. So go and see what is happening where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is fantastic. And I would like to encourage those who are watching like live right now or in the catch up period that if you have more questions or coming or questions or comments for Madeleine and Daniela, please post them in the chat box below this video on our website. You can also tweet, social media. You can actually also contact them in the website that they gave us. Can you remember? Can you remind us which website? Something borrowed dot
SE.
se. So you can do that, write them, keep the questions coming. If you have other suggestions of brands that you think like they have a very circular approach to in their products or they are more sustainable, you can also suggest them to them. And for our audience, I want to remind you that tomorrow is our last day. You can watch this session or any other in the catch-up period after Friday, but only if you get yourself a MyDiv account. It's completely free. It will take you 2 minutes basically to open, and you will be able to watch all the content of the 300 sessions during the next month until the end of December. If you're very interested in fashion, I recommend you watching tomorrow video. Uh, it's called like fashion, like how to make fashion more sustainable, and it's actually a company in India. It's quite interesting. They invented this mathematical um, approach to how you can actually combine your own clothes. So they will create an app and they will take register of your current clothes, the ones that you have in your closet, and then every time you purchase, they will try to make up like different combinations so you can actually use your old clothes in a new stylish way. So that I highly recommend. And I think that's all we got for today. I would like to thank Daniela and Madeleine again for joining us today at the DIF. And to the rest of the audience, see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.